Boom!
Oh my gosh.
Appropriate.
Boom! Alright, my dudes. Do we want to jump right in?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So, last session. Hello, adventurer. I just did that a whole bunch of times, and I can already tell that it's going to be ridiculously awkward because I'm nervous to talk about this. Why? No idea. But, we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons today. The phenomenon that is spreading across the world thanks to the pandemic and the abilities of the internet to connect people and doing things that are social without having to get together. Oh, yeah. I'm wearing elf ears. But they're not just elf ears. They're friggin' headphones. Now, for those of you who, for whatever reason, are unaware as to what Dungeons and Dragons is, I feel like if you're following me, that's not the case. But for those of you who that might describe. Dungeons and Dragons, or D&D, is a tabletop role-playing game where you basically delve into, usually, fantasy worlds, sometimes not, and just fuck shit up. It is entirely improvisational from the player's point of view, and it's just so much fun. And it's something that I've wanted to get into for years, but only in 2020 did my dream of actually playing Dungeons and Dragons come to a reality. So I'd heard about D&D way back, probably high school days, didn't really know much about it, and did not have anyone in my life who would have been remotely interested in playing with me. Not only that, but there was no sort of like D&D club at school. I didn't really know of any gaming places in the city that I went to, and I had very overprotective parents, so they would probably not have been okay with taking me to play with strangers anyhow. Especially because most of the people that I'd probably be getting into a campaign with would have been guys. And you think I look young now? Imagine this as an 18-year-old. I was told that I looked like I was 10 at a restaurant and asked if I wanted the kids' price. So yeah, not really something that was gonna happen. Fast forward a few years later, met one of my friends, Brad, who is a current player that I'm DMing for. And one of the guys that I first started playing with. He expressed interest in playing with a bunch of us in first, second year university. That never ended up panning out. And then I heard about Critical Role in my final years of university. I decided that I was gonna try and check out an episode when I was on a break from studying for final exams while I was eating food. Realized that the episode was 3.5 hours and thought, yeah, I can't do that to myself. So it went unaddressed until the pandemic, when I re-remembered Critical Role and thought, I have nothing but time. So started watching campaign 1 and then campaign 2, and then I was caught up, and now we're in campaign 3, and I have become literally an obsessed person, which I can be, but you know, at some point in 2020, I believe it was November, I had convinced my friends to play with me, and one of my friends said that he would dungeon master, and it started. I was having a blast until Kiefer said that he was doing his thesis for his master's and wouldn't be available to DM for about 6 months at least. And I thought, oh shit, okay, well either we're stopping playing or I'll take up the helm and we'll start a new campaign. And we did. And since early spring, almost a year ago, I have been DMing. After 4 months experience being a player, I am Dungeon Master. Why did I make that decision? But no, like, it has been amazing. Not only is it able to stretch my creative brain, but it also just uses it. It has reinvigorated my interest in actively seeking out voice acting and maybe seeing if that is a trajectory that I want to take for my career. It's a unique leadership experience. And not only that, but it's getting me to learn how to improv a lot better than I feel like I can. And obviously the first time dungeon mastering was absolutely terrifying. Yeah, sure, I was reading out of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is what we started with, but I just was not sure how it was gonna go. And then it became easier and easier. And when my players made a very interesting choice that should have resulted in them being killed by a whole bunch of guards, I came up with the idea to transfer away from the current campaign that I was getting very bored of into a new one. And we started Rime of the Frost Maiden 2 sessions ago. And yeah, we play on Roll20. We can't get together in person, and I don't know when we'll be able to at some point. But it works right now. And obviously I'm not getting a traditional Dungeons and Dragons experience, but to me that doesn't really matter. I'm having a great time with my friends. It's a weekly social interaction that I know that I have that isn't just sitting and complaining about life, you know? We all have so much to complain about right now, and I know that this year was tough on every single person in the world. But yeah, it was probably the hardest that I've had in my life. And yet Dungeons and Dragons is something that I knew that I had that could take me away from all of that. Whether it was the campaign that I'm playing with my friends or watching videos about it online and just immersing myself into something that I love so much, which is the fantasy medieval kind of setting and stories, and yeah, it's helped. So yeah, I've collected way more campaign books and setting books and supplemental information that I've spent way too much money on, either printing or buying. NPC and magic item cards, creature cards, ridiculous amount of dice. Like, stupid. I am absolutely a dice goblin. Oh, not only that, but I can now make my own dice because the kit to do that just came in today. The sweater I'm wearing might just look like a regular oversized sweater to you, but on the back. And now we dive. Get it? I hope you can see that. I can't really tell. Anyway, I need to celebrate the things that bring me happiness. And this is definitely one of the things that's almost kind of been a lifesaver for me. And, you know, I just think that it's a great way to connect with people in a different way. Not only do you get attached even more to your friends, but your friends get attached to this story that you're creating, that you could ultimately write down, turn into a book. It can inspire other creative endeavors, whether that be art or writing, cosplaying, making costumes, just reading anything that is not the usual, I was gonna say job, but that's not necessarily the case for everyone. But I just think that for me, it's given me a lot to get me out of my head and spiraling into the negative things that I experience, and give me something to look forward to. And it's been a huge boon, not gonna lie. So I hope that maybe if you don't play Dungeons and Dragons or don't know anything about it, this might inspire you to kind of look it up and see whether or not this is something that you want to get into. Because I feel like even 5 years ago, if you said that you played Dungeons and Dragons, it would have been seen as you were a freaky weirdo, and that is bizarre. And I know that I'm that, and I've always been that. And I'm okay with that, but there's something about being able to share something that you're excited and passionate about when it's a little bit more acceptable. Even if not everyone likes it, at least now that more people are talking about their love for it and sharing it, it feels like a community that I'm a part of, and I've never really felt like I've been a part of a community before, and that means a lot. Even if I don't know the people that I'm sharing this community with, it's something to hold on to make me smile and bring me joy. We need joy in our lives. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, these things are starting to hurt. My little ears. But yeah, if you play, please let me know what you have mained as, what your favorite character was, or your favorite story arc, or if you've homebrewed or anything like that. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I know for right now I'm still a green dungeon master, that's for sure. I'm still very much figuring out the ropes, and one of the things that I haven't figured out to do yet is how to push my characters and my players further along in the story faster because let me just tell you, I threw in a one-shot, well, what was supposed to have been a one-shot addition to the Waterdeep Dragon Heist area. Ended up taking 4 sessions of 3 hours long. I want things to happen. I want it to be fast-paced and exciting. And anyway, if you have any advice on that front, let me know. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me through the ups and downs and the changes and all of that. And I have no idea what I'm doing with these video things, but at least for now, I want to talk about more shit like this that just makes me happy and that I can be excited about and, you know, me. I hope y'all are well. Don't know why I just called y'all y'all. Am I turning southern? What the fuck? Anyway, until next time, bye.
1 week later.
It's a funny story. Literally 2 days after I filmed that, I found out from one of my players, one of my closest friends, that D&D is just not really ticking the boxes for him, and that he doesn't really want to play anymore. And just he's discovered that the team aspect of playing D&D is not really for him. And because we only have 3 players, you know, it kind of means that this is the end of DMing for me for a while, which kind of sucks. And like, quite honestly, I was very devastated when he told me this. Obviously, I would have liked to know months ago that this isn't something he was really digging. I mean, I love it, and I was trying to do a good job, and I think I was doing an okay job, especially as a green DM. I was doing an okay job, and ultimately he just realized that he's not one for playing fantasy games with other people. He's used to video games and gaming, and that makes sense. But it's just like, I would have wished that he said something earlier, especially because now in hindsight, knowing that this wasn't really for him, it kind of put a lot of pieces together that I had been getting upset or frustrated by when it came to DMing or playing the game. However, that said, this means that although I won't be DMing for quite a while, I'm thinking of trying to join another game online. I know there's a few ways to find games, and there's this ad that keeps popping up for me, and I'm pretty sure it's Start Playing or something like that. So I'm gonna try and check that out, because it seems as though the people that you can choose from on there, some of them have been DMing basically since the game started. So it's kind of an exciting new chance for me to be a player and hopefully pick up some things along the way from a DMing perspective. But yeah, it just kind of was funny that I made this whole thing about how I was stoked to be a DM and all this kind of stuff, and then the rug got pulled from underneath me. So, you know, that's how life goes. What else is new in this shit show of couple years, you know? But anyway, that to say, if you have suggestions of places that I could find groups to play with online, that would be good too. Anyway, for proper, bye. Oh god. There are people walking outside. I don't want them to hear me talking about this nerdy ass thing. Oh, Jesus.